Hey, I'm outside enjoying spring. There's my dying apple tree behind me. And I'm sitting beside my garden and just enjoying a little green time, literally. And thinking a lot about a whole bunch of shit that I'm going through. And I don't know if others are, but if you are, being raised by narcissists and realizing that it was never me, it was just my parent not being satisfied enough. It was never that I wasn't enough, it was that they could never be satisfied enough, has really taken some of the heat off of me, has given me clarity as to why a lot of things happened while growing up. And I don't know, I feel like I understand with more compassion why my mother was the way she was and is the way she is, and the way my grandfather was and is. And I feel like I mean, it would be insulting to them, and it is insulting to them when I say that they're not evolved. But what I mean is that they're stuck in trauma, so they can't escape the victim mindset. And so imagine talking to somebody who's under a lot of responsibility, who's got, like, they're frying eggs and they're watching hash browns, they've got a huge ticket line of meals coming that they have to make. Imagine a fry cook or a cook in a restaurant, and then you go to them and you say, I have a problem with the way that you're doing things. So they're in this situation where they're feeling overloaded, and so they're not in fight or flight. They're in a survival mode. And I come to them with something important. They can't talk about it. They will fly off the handle. It's the way that all of us react when we're under a lot of stress, when we're under a lot of burden, when we feel like there's too many demands on us, we snap. And so I see my parents and my grandpa and my stepfather as people who have been burdened by the way that the society has set things up. It's not a fair society. My stepdad had long hair, so people rejected him instantly just because of his long hair. My mother she looked like a hippie, so she got some rejection from the outside world too. Seems like that's a little more accepted now since magic isn't such a sin anymore. But when you try to approach most Americans, they just have too many things in the burners. They got too many pans on the oven. They're not in safe and social. You can't approach someone in the grocery store and say, excuse me, I have immune issues. Could you please put your mask back on? That's too much. They're too full. They've got too much they're dealing with, and you can't understand what they're going through. And it's true, you can't. You don't know what anyone is going through. You don't know if they're one layer away from losing it. And if you think about it, you look at a kid, take a child, 6 years old, any age really, and if they feel like, well, let's see, how was I going to put this? If you take a child and you have this is ADHD and PTSD all at once right now. I have such a hard time remembering things. And no, I have not had any green today. I'm just out in the green. It's part of PTSD and ADHD. And my ADHD may be because of the trauma. So, go figure. When a child is feeling overloaded and everything it feels like the end of the world for them, you can laugh and you'd be like, oh my God, you think you got troubles? I've got this bill and that bill, and I've got this person on me and that collection agency after me, and I'm late for work, and this is my level. But that's their level. Their level of breakdown is they don't get to have ice cream, or that's how bad it is in their small world. That's the level that they've reached, and that's their level that they can't go past yet. So if you meet an adult and you think that they're losing it over something small, perhaps that's as far as it's ever gotten for them, and that is their cap. That's as high as they've ever gotten, and now they're losing their shit. And you've already been through that. You may have, like me, been through it when you were 6 years old, 5 years old, 4 years old, but because you're a kid, well, now that you're an adult, you kind of laugh at how small their problems are and how lucky they are that that's their problem, that that's their catastrophe. And I don't know, it's if you can have more compassion for the way that other people are trying to get through each day, me including my mom, who unfortunately I will not probably ever reach out to. I don't see any change in the future unless she leaves my stepfather. There's too much abuse going on hourly. Fat woman, he just, somebody calls, hey, is her name there? She's taking a crap. He thinks it's funny. She's small, she's not important, and he keeps her there. So, until then, I might not have a mother, and I understand that, and I'll just be my own mother. But if you can think about those things, if I could put this in a nutshell, I would say, look at other people with compassion. Their catastrophe could be your stepping stone, but it's still their catastrophe, and they're still losing their shit over it. So give them space. Don't poo-poo them. Don't laugh at them. Don't mock them. Makes them feel like shit, and they'll never get over it then. And when you do that, you pile on more trauma. So think of all those layers. You're never going to get to the center of that person if you keep on layering shit. Much love, you guys.